This is your Daily 5 for Monday, January 12th, 2026. There is a high degree of probability that I will mispronounce the title of today's movie, but that's what show notes are for, so of course there'll be a link in there. One of the movies that Lando and I watched for our commentary this week is a 1979 science fiction film titled Pilot Pirx's Inquest. I'm sure I'm getting the pilot's name wrong, but in any event, 1979 science fiction film based on a Stanisaw Lem story. I don't know if it's a full novel or not, but a story by Stanisaw Lem. And for a movie that's made in 1979, having watched it, if you'd asked me what year I thought it was made in, I probably would have guessed 1960. Because, and that's not a criticism, but what this movie is golden age science fiction in terms of how it functions. Astonishingly, Solaris, made before this movie, as a science fiction film, feels like more of a progressive film, also a Lem story, feels more of its time than this movie does. And again, this is not to dissuade you from watching it. I actually think it's quite good. I think Lando does too. We'll talk about it on Friday. But just be aware, this feels far closer to a Twilight Zone episode than something made at the tail end of the 70s, which generally were seen as an experimental time in filmmaking. And in particular, this is a Russian, Estonian, Polish production. I believe I've got those three countries right. And so it does have a very European flavor to it, but it feels like a classic American science fiction film. Something from, say, The Day the Earth Stood Still. That's what it feels like. And meaning that it's all about the substance and there's very little attention paid to the style. So it's all functional. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't, it's not a terribly made movie in any sense. But you definitely have the sense that what they're pitching here is the big idea. Capital B, capital I, the big idea. And the central idea is that there is going to be a space mission that is being undertaken to determine whether synthetically created beings can pass and operate as if they were humans. That's not really a secret. The opening 10 minutes is setting all this up. And the rest of the movie is this central character, Pilot Pirx, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, trying to figure out how to determine which of these people in his crew, we were never told, if or how many or if any of them are in fact synthetics or if any of them are human. And that's the whole movie. That's the crux on which the movie is hung, is how is this individual going to solve this problem and what different things is he trying to essentially think of it as a human Voight-Kampff test, if you want to put Blade Runner terms on it. He is the person trying to ferret out the Nexus 7s. And that's really what the movie is. It's mostly set on this spacecraft as he is going around and grilling people and asking questions and trying to determine who is human and who is not. That's the movie. That's really it. If you've read classic science fiction, Asimov, Clarke, Lem, you have an idea of what this movie is dealing in. It's this idea of, okay, what is the difference? Is there a difference? If there is, what will be the differentiating factors? If you knew, will it change something? Can a machine lie? Can a machine ever truly be honest? Can a machine break its programming? All these different things that this individual is trying to figure out. Again, very interesting topic, well-made film, but a very deliberately paced and novelistic film where you can basically feel the text being literally translated to imagery. And for some people, that might move too slow. It may seem too dry and too intellectual and too brainy. And again, here's a great comparison. If you liked the first Star Trek film, the motion picture, you will like this movie. If you found that to be a sludge factory where nothing happened and it was just a bunch of people talking and debating things, then don't bother. Again, no judgment involved. I'm just saying this movie looks one way when you see images from it, but it functions another. So I really enjoyed it. I like that classic science fiction stuff. I find that those authors I mentioned, Clarke, Asimov, Lem, many others, I like the stuff they get into. But again, when you translate it into a film, up until a certain point where people really started getting artistically liberal with it, it could be a very machine-like film. I really don't know how else I can put it. So again, not to say don't watch it, but just be aware of what you're getting into. Again, 1979, Pilot Pirx's Inquest. Worth watching if you're into this kind of film. Later.